Interesting stuff going on right now. Many people see this as the beginning, the setup for shenanigans this fall. I don't know. We're going to have to take a look at it. There's also some new news out of Maricopa County, which there were many questions about during the last election, in particular around Kari Lake and the various machines. I will again plead, beg, do whatever it takes to tell you that I believe conservative pundits telling you to vote on election day are wrong. You should vote early and in person. Bank your vote, get it in there. I don't want to hear about, well, then the Democrats know how many vote. No. Get in there, get your vote in, period. You know what they can't do if you go in 2 weeks early during early in-person voting? They can't break the machine coincidentally at 8 o'clock, right? The vote's in. You can verify your vote. You can do all this kind of stuff, right? You know what happens when you vote 2 weeks early in person? You don't get sick. You know, Tim Pool's off today. I've slid into his live stream slot. Normally I'm live Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern, where I cover all the news. And if you enjoy that, you want someone who covers the news, please do follow my live stream channel, which is called Quartercast, or follow me on Rumble. Both are good. Postal Service warns 46 states that their voters could be disenfranchised by delayed mail-in ballots. Oof, who is this really for? Who mails in their ballots? Who is that? Which group of voters is that, by the way? Anticipating an avalanche of absentee ballots, the U.S. Postal Service recently sent a detailed letter to 46 states and Washington, D.C., warning that it simply cannot guarantee all ballots cast by mail for the November election will even arrive in time to be counted. Adding another layer of uncertainty ahead of high-stakes presidential contest. Again, look up the day your early in-person voting starts. Go and do it. You can check your vote online. Take the time right now to go and verify that you're registered at the correct address, right? There are many states, there are many stories of people just getting mail-in ballots sent to their house. I feel like this warning's probably for Democrats saying, uh-oh, you're not going to be able to rely on all those mail-in ballots. The letters sketch a grim possibility for the tens of millions of Americans eligible for mail-in ballots this fall. Even if people follow all their state's election rules, the pace of the Postal Service delivery may disqualify their votes. First of all, there should be no mail-in voting, period. I actually think this hurts the Democrats more than the Republicans. I suppose you'd have to let me know in the comments, but I think this actually hurts them more. The Postal Service's warnings of the potential disenfranchisement. When they say disenfranchisement, they're talking about Democrat voters. You know, came as the agency undergoes a sweeping organizational and policy overhaul amid dire financial conditions. Well, that's what, when the government runs things, they don't run. The ballot warnings issued at the end of July from Thomas J. Marshall, General Counsel and Executive Vice President of the Postal Service, and obtained through records requested by the Washington Post, were planned before the appointment of Louise DeJoy, a former logistics executive and ally of President Trump. As Postmaster General in early summer, they go beyond the traditional coordination between the Postal Service and election officials, drafted as fears surrounding the COOF lockdowns triggered an unprecedented and sudden shift to mail-in voting. Who did the mail-in ballots? I actually think this is a win for Trump. Am I wrong? am I wrong? Some people say that this triggers the quote unquote steal is on. I just think they're warning Democrats like, hey, you guys have been telling people to do mail-in ballots and early absentee ballots, and we can't guarantee that they'll actually make it. I think that this is, a warning to Democrats. There's 40 million in the narrow warnings, 186 million in heightened warning. Some states anticipate 10 times the normal volume in election mail. 6 states and D.C. received warnings that ballots could be delayed for a narrow set of voters, but the Postal Service gave 40 others, including key battleground states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Florida, more serious warnings that their long-standing deadline for requesting, returning, and counting ballots were encourages with mail service, and voters who send ballots in close to those deadlines may become disenfranchised. This is a warning to Democrats, in my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong. Right? I think they're like, guys, I know you've been mailing out a bunch of ballots to people, but we might not be able to get them counted at 2 a.m. anymore. How about this? Breaking. Secret Service declares January 6th, the day of certification of electoral votes, a now national special security event. I think they might be out there making excuses for the Kamala Lamity. I think they might be making excuses for Kamala Harris. The Cacklementum. Maybe they're already saying, well, she would have won if all of our mail-in ballots would have been counted. I think that this is a very dire warning to Democrats. Maybe it's a cope. I don't know. But are the Democrats setting up for some sort of denial? Is Kamala Harris going to deny the results? Whose voters vote in person? Trump's. Trump's voters vote in person. They're not worried about Trump votes not making it in the mail. So again, I will remind for the 1 billionth time, outside of making sure if you're a YouTube viewer that you subscribe to Quartercast, which will be linked in the pinned comment, they're warning Democrats that they're in trouble. The 2025 counting and certification of electoral votes in Washington, D.C. on January 6th has now been designated a special national security event by the Secretary of Homeland Security. That's redundant. This marks the very first time National Special Security Event designation has been granted for the certification of electoral votes. It follows the request of D.C. Mayor to designate it. What does that mean to you? Does that mean, some people say, that means they're going to try to cheat again? That's what some people are saying in the comments. Some people say in the comments, never forget this day that the government started a riot to cover up an election. Questions. Prepare for the riggage. Why does this feel like it's staged? Now that they federally declared a national event, they call all the shots and the votes, and we're supposed to succumb to their hierarchy. Don't like this one bit. Sweet Jesus, get ready for something big. Tuesday, November 5th is before then. This should be National Count All the Votes Day. Prepare for something big. That's why I'm telling you to vote early and in person. Track your vote. Follow your vote. Harris falling behind among male voters in key states. Men don't like her. She comes across as crotchety and entitled. Men don't like brat. New polls show Vice President Harris faces a major challenge of winning over male voters and is losing men by a bigger margin than she's winning women in key states. Men don't want to vote for a woman president. They don't. Women don't want to vote for a woman president. This is known. I mean, vote early, in person, and then you go. You find a friend, family member, somebody. Convince them to go vote. Drop them off. Let them go vote. Don't tell them how to vote. Make a strong case for them. That's why I made tailgatesfortrump.com. So now we have a national security event on the day they're counting the votes. What do we think that means? Meanwhile, Dave Portnoy decides to endorse Donald Trump. I'm voting the other way, but to each their own. How about this? Breaking news. Maricopa County, according to this tweet, now admits that there is in fact no chain of custody documents for the November 8th, 2022 election from the 223 voting centers, number of voters checked in, total ballots cast, early ballots dropped off for the 28 days, and all ballots paper. DC Drano writes, remember when the entire world watched Maricopa County almost fully shut down half of their election system in 2022 to stop Kari Lake and then claimed everything was just fine? Yeah, it turns out things were very not fine, and now they're finally admitting it was a third world scam. You know, what does this all mean? What does this all mean? Well, I think it's pretty ominous that they're declaring it a national special security event, don't you? To me, I would understand why people might feel like they're setting up to steal. That's all I'm saying. I understand why people might feel that way. Then you have the Postal Service saying, hey, we're going to have a problem with mail-in ballots. Let's see, mail-in, let's just check. I already know this, but mail-in ballots by party. Let's see. What absentee ballots look like? 58% of Democrats voted by mail, according to Massachusetts Institute of Technology. 58% of Democrats voted by mail, 29% Republicans. This could be catastrophic for Democrats. That's what they're telling them now. Watch the message change. How we voted from MIT. 65% of mail-in ballots were Democrats. This could be a potential disaster for Democrats. I don't know. Am I doing the Tim Pool thing right now? I don't know. You know, I wish Tim Pool the best. I hope he is, on the mend. I hope he's healing up. But I would be a fool to not remind you, I have a channel called Quartercast Live, where I live stream every day at 1 Eastern, and also whenever Tim Pool is not feeling well. So please do subscribe. It'll be linked in the comment section down below. I look forward to hearing all of your comments on this one.